I want to make sure that our panel truly gets a good picture of how concerned we are about the staffing issues that you're facing. You can have a recruitment center across every state, across every city, across every military branch, and we will only be wasting money if we're not able to retain people because of the work environment that you are providing for them. I've heard directly from CBP employees that have been giving absolutely no notice and been sent from LAX to our southern border. I understand, for 17 and a half years, I have worked in a paramilitary organization. I understand that it is a lifestyle, that weekends, forced overtime, and holiday work and nights is part of the job. That's why it is a lifestyle and not just a job. But it is unacceptable when we are asking single moms, single dads, to abandon their children without any notice for 3 months. That is unacceptable. Certainly, you would not want to do that or want to have that job. So if we're not able to staff people because we are we're overwhelming them on background checks, on other types of testing that are not applicable to the job, I think that this is time for a serious revision of this hiring process. And I hope that today, when you leave this hearing, you don't just turn the page and go on about your bureaucratic way of doing business, and that you actually take a serious look on how you are impacting families and my constituents, not just the employees, but also how that is impacting our airports. I have the Ontario International Airport in my district. Currently, this is a small airport. Currently, they have 16 arriving and 16 departing international passenger flights per week on 2 carriers. But CBP officers are deployed to Ontario as an as-needed basis and not stationed there. How is the staffing shortage affecting smaller airports, and how can we work together to correct this problem? I remember several years ago when a carrier had to do a layover at Ontario Airport, and the passengers waited 16 hours because they were waiting for CBP personnel to come from LAX. That is unacceptable. That is not the business model that we want to see. Can you tell me how this is impacting our smaller airports, your lack of ability to hire people?
Sure, and I agree with you on both points. If I could address the temporary duty situation first in San Diego and the Port of San Ysidro. We have deployed 197 employees to date, and the procedures we use to do that, something we've negotiated with the National Treasury Employees Union, is we take volunteers first. And out of the 197, 194 of them have been voluntary assignments. There were 3 employees from the Chicago field office that were involuntary assigned to that. Now, as we go to the next round, and as we hit summer, I imagine that number will increase, but these are the negotiated provisions by which we make those assignments. Now, out of the people that are there, 27 of them have asked to extend and go into the second round, and we've had a handful of employees want to transfer there permanently. I did that. I went from New York City down to Laredo, Texas on a TDY. Well,
I have limited time,
sir. I ended up staying.
Now, excuse me, I have limited time here, and what I'm telling you is that the employees that I heard from are telling me that you have run out of volunteers. So when you run out of volunteers, you are forcing people to either continue their deployment there, where you have transferred them, or you're deploying new bodies. So I'd like to go on to continue to ask you about specifically about how this is impacting my airport in my community. As part of the new strategic business plan for Ontario, expanding airline service is a top priority. As part of this initiative, the Ontario International Airport Authority has identified opportunities for new and increased services to Mexico, Central America, Asia, and the Pacific Rim, as well as Western Canada. However, to capture those opportunities, Ontario needs a commitment for more on-site CBP personnel. How is that going to happen under this environment that you have created?
It's very difficult for us to do that. We have service requests from multiple small to mid-size and the large airports for increased service. We have John Wayne, we have Melbourne, we have Reno, we have Pittsburgh, we have San Diego. All these airports have been in to ask us for increased service, and including Ontario. So we do our best to balance. The good part about Ontario is we have a large pool to draw from LAX to provide that. There's other options that they have available with the reimbursable services agreement. They can go with the user fee status, and there's other opportunities for them to be able to provide some of those costs that fit into their business model. There's also technology that they can choose to deploy. They can purchase automated passport control kiosks. They can help us do our job more efficiently too. So it's continued discussions with them on how best to provide that service.